if we had a camera guy, we wouldn't have to be worried about those things.
You know what? We got goals. We got goals.
2-woman show here.
2-woman show, and we are doing it.
We are doing it.
A little burned out. We're moving on to our anniversary.
Yeah, your anniversary's coming up.
It is coming up March 7th. 8 years married. Almost.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That is a big deal, right?
That's
a big deal.
That is something to celebrate.
That is something to celebrate. As we've done our segment on marriage before, and we've met Chris, your husband, Derek, my husband.
Hello, everyone.
We've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of work to do.
It's a journey.
Marriage is a work in progress.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs now and moms and the spouse for us, I can't speak for everybody, it seems to be kind of put on the back burner. What the thing is, I've seen this time and time again in other people's marriages and lives that just share openly, no judgment, but it's just like, that is what it is. But I don't want to be another statistic with divorce. So It's like, so what are you going to do about that? Are you going to be okay with putting marriage on the back burner, or are you going to do something about it?
Okay, story.
Back
when the girls were little, I think Reagan was maybe a year old, maybe. Gracie about 3, 4 maybe. We took a trip to San Diego, just the 4 of us. When we were leaving, we're packing everything up. I'm getting the kids ready. Chris is taking all the luggage out to the car. He runs into this guy in the elevator, like our neighbor. He was like right next to us, and they walked to the elevator together. And Chris actually apologized to him for all of our noise because we had 2 little kids.
Yeah.
He had teenagers, like 15, 16-year-old teenagers. And he asked how old his kids were, Chris's kids. And he tells them, and he's just like, oh man, you're like in the thick of it. And I didn't realize the gravity of that comment at that time.
Yeah.
But yeah, when your kids are little, it's just harder, I think,
hard
on the marriage that you have to deal with.
Now, do you think you're out of the thick of it now with the age of your kids?
Yes, by way of like strain on Chris and I. For us, like we were really young.
Yeah.
We didn't have a lot of money. Chris worked a ton of hours. I was working. And it's just more manageable. And we do have the luxury of being able to like take time for just he and I, and it's not a big deal.
Say, again, my kids are so young still, but so I don't know what I don't know. We're kind of in the thick of it right now. Just even simply having a conversation with Derek without being interrupted of mommy. I'm just gonna do a shout out here. Re-engage. This is at our church, Rock Creek Church. Okay, it is every Monday at 6:30, and they have free childcare.
Nice.
But this has been kind of a re-spark or a re-engagement for our marriage, and it really has been eye-opening. It's like a small group, or like almost like a Bible study in a way. You're studying the Bible, but you're also like getting to know other people and then studying the book of re-engagement here. But it just really has been a great community for us, but also the accountability then is there, that we have to show up, and then people take our kids. So then it's uninterrupted time.
You have to show up and you have to apply effort and energy to your marriage.
Yes. In the book here, there is homework. And if you show up without your homework done, you kind of don't look great.
Right.
I have to highlight this last chapter, or one of the chapters here. It is on communication. What do you think you and Chris do on communication? We
do a lot better now.
I mean, you guys seem like you got it going on. You do.
Now we do. There was a time when we really struggled through this. Chris and I, we were actually just talking about this the other night. I really believe that is like the secret sauce to a healthy relationship. And whether it's your marriage or your siblings or friends or whoever, communication is really what it comes down to. And not just the act of communicating, but like how you communicate.
How you communicate.
Yes, learning how to effectively communicate with each other is, and if you can master that, or at least get decent at it, like you really can save yourself a lot of heartache.
There's also, I had never been like really in a small group with men before. I'd always done like women's small groups. So it was kind of neat to see like the men's perspective and the men's side on things.
Exactly.
So this kind of fell in our lap. So here we are.
So here you are. Opportunity.
Opportunity. I found that with my communication is that I am and Derek and I have yet to discuss this. This is Monday morning, but so this is my perspective, not his, but I could probably think that he would agree the same way. But I escalate. Like,
What am I?
It goes really,
I wanna know what I am.
really loud, real fast.
Oh, okay.
Or really, what they say to do is, hey, like a better way. Take a time out. Okay, we're getting
Take a
loud.
breath.
Nothing productive's coming from this conversation. Let's take a time out and then get back together and talk it out. Now the challenge that Derek and I face is like, he's always like, well, not right now, not right now. But I'm like, okay, so then when? And then like, there's no when.
And then you fester.
And then I fester. And then I explode. Why? Do you want the big explosion or the small one? Well, you choose. But, so
I used to be an escalator.
Okay. So there's hope for me. There's hope.
I used to go into yelling because, like,
I do not see you like that at all.
And it was pretty quick. Like, I was pretty quick to start raising my voice and get really, like, my temper. But Chris is not that way. And he's like...
This is good.
He would tell me, he's like, don't yell at me. We can talk about it.
Okay.
Don't yell at me.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you just fight back with me? Why don't you just... You know, and I would be mad that he was so, like, controlled.
Okay.
And one night we got into it and he's like, quit yelling at me. And I wouldn't stop yelling, so he left. He grabbed his keys, he's like, okay. And he walked out. And I was devastated. I was like completely like shocked that he actually left.
Wow.
And then he comes back a little while later. He's like, look, we can argue about things, it's fine, but don't yell at me. He's like, I'm not yelling at you. Don't yell at me. That, ever since then, like, I made a real effort to not do that. And to the point now where it's like, I don't yell anymore. It's like, it's just not even, like, I just don't even go there. That's just practice.
I need that. Okay, see, we're learning.
Yeah.
Again, 8 years in still, and we have lots to learn. I just wrote a 7-page paper the other weekend. It's a life map of kind of like the things that have been impactful to you of why you are the way you are today. And again, your perspective. I remember that brings up my first boyfriend that I had. We disagreed with something and I started yelling. Because that's how I grew up, is that's normal to me. Feelings.
Just throw your hands up and walk out, because that was another thing that we did a lot in my family was if the argument wasn't going our way, we just, whatever, forget it, and leave.
I do believe that your past does have a great deal to do with who you are now, but that doesn't mean that you can't learn from it or...
No, it's not like set in stone of who you are. It's not set in stone, and everybody's imperfect, and there's no judgment over my mom and dad and the past experience that I've had, but it's just like they were doing the best they could with what they knew. So, bottom line is we are learning how to communicate fairly. Big takeaway, I had posted this on my social media, trying to see my husband through God's eyes instead of my own. Yeah, that takes effort as well.
That takes effort. Seeing myself through God's eyes, because I know I am my hardest critic, as I believe most of us are. That was a huge takeaway.
Oh, that's like a goosebump moment.
Okay. You seem to be really good though with like you and Chris. How long has it been now?
Oh gosh. We got married in 2005. So that's math. 17 years, something. Anyway,
a long time.
As hard as it is going through these sort of trials, these phases where you struggle, just hold on and just keep working through it. When you get to the other side, oh, it's so much better. And you grow together, and you have a bond there. Chris and I have a relationship that I don't have with anybody else, because we've gone through so much suck.
There are seasons. There are seasons for everything. There are good seasons and there are not so good seasons.
And I'm not anti-divorce. I just don't think it should be the first thing we jump to.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's right to stay in like an unhealthy relationship either. Yeah. But you guys have a really good foundation between the two of you. Like, I have no doubt that you're going to make it through all this stuff. You just have to keep going.
We have our moments. We really do. And put that post out there about marriage and just the things that we struggle with. Like, don't always put like the bad stuff that can go on in one's house that people just don't see. I'm saying my own that like we are not proud of, and no, I'm not there like snapping a photo of my rage. But
I think just being honest about it, like you said, you're like, I'm an escalator. I yell, I get worked up. I mean, just being able to say like understanding about that about yourself, if you can catch it now.
I mean, I'm not okay with it. Like it's something is being done about it. Same with Derek's point of view too. Like he's coming humbly to re-engage of like, there are some things that I need to work on, and there's things that I don't know about. Same with me, and I think that that's a huge step. Oh my goodness, when you add kids onto things. We were married a year and then we had kids. It really does shuffle things around quite a bit.
It does. It makes a lot of changes.
Really, I feel like just now with our kids being 4 and 6, we're just starting to maybe get into a rhythm of like who does what and what does it look like.
You are in the thick of it.
Well, when I went to your house yesterday and Reagan's was like, you know, I'm gonna make my own lunch, you know, can I help you? Can I get you anything? I'm like, what?
She offered to make us lunch. Right.
Yeah, I need one of those in my life.
But yeah, when they do get older, they get more independent. They don't need you for things. They can do things on their own. And there's gonna be a lot of people who can chime up about this, about teenagers being awful and hard and all the crap that comes along with having teenagers. The phase of life that we're in, about to be 14, about to be 11, it's actually kind of great because, you know, they don't require me so much for everything, but they're still like home. I still have a lot of control over what they do, where they go, where they don't go. I have a lot of control over what they're exposed to. And so like I kind of like have to count my blessings for that situation and just really enjoy this for what it is, because they are like, once they start becoming more mobile and they can like drive and they can go out into the world on their own, that's going to be awful. But for now, it's great.
We're keeping it positive here. Absolutely. Totally awful.
Just totally honest. I'm
totally
terrified of when they can actually like leave.
As I've said to you before, I'm following your lead. So let's make it great.